I didn't miss a week. You missed a week. So pay attention. We got some catching up to do. Greetings, citizens! I'm Jeff, and thanks for tuning in to Nindie Nation episode 173. We've got 10 new releases to check out today, all of which are hitting the eShop through Sunday, January 29th. Let me know down in the comments what stands out to you, and if you want to see any of today's games on our Nindies at Night stream this Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Since we didn't have an episode last week, we're gonna take a minute to point out some of the games that you might be interested in. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, make sure to tell all of your friends about Nindie Nation, and let's kick off episode 173 of Nindie Nation by taking a quick look at the 7 neglected Nindies that released since episode 172. Alright, we're gonna rapid fire these. Last Command is a wild sci-fi anime crossover between a bullet hell shooter and Snake. You know the game that shipped with every Nokia cell phone? Yeah, that's Snake. It has extremely positive reviews and dropped for $14.99 by Cree Spirit and publisher Winking. I think this one looks kinda cool, so I'm gonna try to add it to our next stream, so stay tuned on this one. A Space for the Unbound is a slice-of-life adventure game that follows a boy navigating the ups and downs of adolescence in late 90s Indonesia. It's developed by Mojiken and published by Toge Productions and Chorus Worldwide Games for $19.99. It's on this list because of how much critical acclaim it was receiving last week, so if you were on the fence, it seems like it's an adventure worth taking. A couple pixelated platformers for ya. Smile Mo released for $8.99 alongside a demo, and follows an emoji fighting a virus inside of a computer, which I guess is done by running and jumping through super hard stages while collecting vaccine icons. That one's from CFK. And Omega Bot is the highly rated pixel platformer adventure with some Mega Man boss influence by Simon Carney and Red Art Games. This one's $12.99 and looks really cool, so I've also got it on the shortlist for one of our next streams. Then we round out the neglected Nindies with 3 different ways to shoot things. First, in Void Prison, for $2.99 you're dropped into a circle that's always closing, and you have to shoot all the things that are trying to bump you into the electric fence wall thingy. Just don't take a whiz on it, you know?
Before you let it flow, find a place to go, just don't whiz on the electric fence.
Second is Gray's Counter GM, a bullet hell that's anime as hell, developed by Bakuri Software that released for $12 and encourages you to graze enemy projectiles in order to build up your super duper anime laser thing. If you happen to be on the fence for that one, it also has a demo. Finally, the third way to shoot things from last week's lineup is the game we played on Nindies at Night just last Thursday. Never Awake is about a girl in a coma who battles her inner demons and conquers her real-life fears as they are represented by truly nightmarish monsters, such as vegetables, dogs, and the dentist. This one is really cool, and I've been playing quite a bit of it since the stream. I love how the levels are usually less than a minute long, and there's a bunch of progression mechanics that make replaying levels for better scores fun and rewarding. It's $25 though, which I think is a bit too high, but next time it's on sale, make sure to check out this unique shooter from Phoenix. Anything here up your alley? You downloading any of those demos? Let me know down in the comments, and with that out of the way, let's take a look at the week ahead. These are the 11 new notable Nindies hitting the Nintendo Switch through Sunday, January 29th. Well, we start the week all the way out on Wednesday the 25th, the day many of you will be watching this, with Chaos Monger Studio, who, I guess they just think they can do my job for me, as they claim,
Clunky Hero is a story-driven platformer Metroidvania with a touch of RPG, hack and slash, and tons of humor.
Hey, that's actually pretty good. This looks like a good time, though I will admit the clunky moniker is fitting for more than just the main character. But hey, a little jank here and there never stopped me before, and for $12, I'm digging the vibes that remind me of 3000th Duel or Hunter X, just with an atmosphere that's a little less Dark Souls and a little more, Shrek?
Somebody once told me the world is going.
The next game releasing on Wednesday is only getting featured because of how many words completely stumped me while researching it. The excavation of Hobbs Barrow, first of all, seems like an anagram for a sexual act. And also, just what the hell is a Wadjet Eye? Because that's who developed this $15 English folklore-driven point-and-click adventure, and their name also sounds like a sexual act. Though this one may be more of what happens when sexual act goes awry? What were we talking about? Oh, right. They introduced the game by saying,
Antiquarian Thomasina Bateman is writing a book on the Barrows of England.
There's some pretty freaky pixel art, though. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I covered Grammarian Limited, a neat little adventure about policing people's grammar, and apparently it was delayed until Wednesday.
So there's that.
But this next one, which kicks off the big Thursday drop on the 26th, is from Playheart Games and Fusion Play, and it's right up my alley. Pixelbot Extreme, or Pixelbot Extreme, is already set up for success, because while Pixel Heart is usually a support studio for other games that we like to poke fun at here on Nindie Nation, Pixelbot Extreme is designed and developed all in-house, and you can tell it's made by people who care. It's a side-scrolling shooter that initially reminded me of Jetpack Joyride, but with a pixelated art style like what you'd see on the Sega Genesis. The shtick here is that enemies and obstacles are color-coded, and the various weapons assigned to the buttons on your controller each have their own matching color. So while you're barreling through tunnels, knocking out enemies and bosses across 25 stages, you're also having to keep track of which weapons to use at which times, making the gameplay much more involved. Beyond that, it's got a few difficulty modes, couch co-op, and challenge missions to add to the replay value, making Pixelbot and its $9.99 price tag an easy game to recommend, and one that we'll hopefully be checking out together on this week's Nindies at Night. Speaking of Nindies at Night, we'll also be checking out Onion Assault, the latest game by Bertil Horberg. Now, I adore his past titles like Gunman Clive and Mextermination Force, but I'm not sold yet on his latest effort. It's a colorful platformer that seems to mix level design from Donkey Kong Country with the pick-up and throw mechanic from Super Mario Bros. 2. It's been quite a while since Bertil's last release of Super Punch Patrol, so Onion Assault has had a good amount of time to bake in the oven. Even if I'm not completely sold on it, I do look forward to trying it this week, and if you end up liking what you see, you can pick it up as well for $7.99. Mobile developer Lizardry releases a short but open-ended and replayable visual novel called 7 Days to End With You for $11.99. And I don't know if it's Lizardry or
Playism
who's responsible, but we start off on the wrong foot when I see the same game is $6 on PC and $12 on the Switch. Anyways, you wake up in a weird world where you can't understand anything anyone says to you, and as you talk with various characters in the game, you'll start deducing the language, which is how you'll help build relationships and see the overall story play out. I'm including this game in today's lineup because it has really positive reviews on Steam, but I'm hard-pressed to recommend a Switch tax that doubles the price. So I'd say if you do decide to jump in, get it on Steam or just wait for a sale. If I told you that Mars Base was a farming sim, would I need to elaborate any further? With gameplay similar to Littlewood, that's exactly what developer KZ Games Limited has built, and it's available via Freedom Games for $19.99. It's got very mixed reviews though, with most from the PC launch back in October saying the game was unfinished and buggy, so if you are considering this one, make sure to check out reviews first. Nindie newcomer Halvard Meldy is bringing a level-based precision platformer to the eShop, and at $5, I think Ginung looks like a good time. It's like a zoomed-out Celeste, where you run, jump, dash, wall jump, and all that kind of stuff. And it also has occasional combat and a cool mechanic where if you die, you get a little second chance to revive if you can stay in the air long enough. Anyone else feeling this one? I think I want to give it a try. What do you think? Oh, and a quick aside, because I just couldn't help myself, but hey, 17 Studio? Just what the f is this? Hippo, the Little Red Riding Hood, is just assets from Peppa Pig ripped off and thrown into a story about a hippo and a dinosaur learning about becoming more... urban? It's like if Peppa Pig and Malibu's Most Wanted had a baby, and that baby's favorite lullaby was Pretty Fly for a White Guy. So the first of two, games,
More on that later.
to release on Friday the 27th is so artsy-fartsy I can't tell what it actually is, but when I see something from Unknown Tales, I know it's probably gonna be good. Originally released on Apple Arcade, Atone, Heart of the Elder Tree is developed by Wild Boy Studios and is a narrative-driven adventure through Norse mythology. Seems like the gameplay is either puzzle-based or combat-driven, which then looks like a rhythm game of call and response. It all looks beautiful and super moody, but it's hard to tell just how it'll translate to the Switch. It releases for $14.99, and if enough of you want to see it, I'm sure we could probably check it out on stream. And then finally, we've got Red Deer Games, who's up to their old bullshit again, but I kinda like this idea. Well, I like it the same way I like it when I was a kid and someone was like,
I'm gonna launch my bike over this swamp.
and I was like,
Sweet! I'll watch!
because while NOS new operating system is kind of a cute idea, I'm surely not going anywhere near it. That's right, they developed an operating system that lives inside of a Nintendo Switch app. Launch the app and you've got a desktop. You can use Paint, have a calculator, play a stupid minigame, create to-do lists. It's the perfect program for someone who has an extra Switch with no other electronic devices. Especially with its... wait, how much does this cost? Oh my god, $40? Well, that. Oh my god, the nerve of those guys. What do you think of this week's releases? I like Clunky Hero and Ginung could be fun, and I really look forward to checking out Onion Assault, but I think Pixelbot Extreme is the game I'm most interested in. Let me know what you're feeling down in the comments, and if you'd like to see any of this or last week's releases on Nindies at Night, this Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also, keep your eyes peeled for our Game of the Year video, hopefully live before next week's episode. And if you just need even more indie game discussion while you're waiting, come join us on Discord. Otherwise, that's it for today, citizens. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing Nindie Nation with others. Until next week, I'm Jeff. This has been Nindie Nation episode 173. And remember, no matter what type of game you're looking for, Nindie Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.